Random House Audible presents How We Lost the Moon, a true story by Frank W. Allen, written by Paul J. Mcauley. You probably think that you know everything about it. After all, here we are, barely into the second quarter of the first century of the third millennium, and it's being touted as the biggest event in the history of humanity. Yeah, right. But tossing aside such impossibly grandiose claims, it was and still is a hell of a story. It's generated millions of bytes of web journalism. 2 years after, there are still more than 200 official websites, not to mention the tens of thousands of unofficial news groups devoted to proving that it was really caused by God, or aliens, or St. Elvis. Tens of thousands of hours of TV and 100 schlocky movies. And I do include James Cameron's 7-hour blockbuster, thousands of scientific papers, and dozens of thick technical reports, including the 10-million-page congressional report and the ghost-written biographies of scientists who should have known better. Now, you might think that I'm sending out my version because I was either misrepresented or completely ignored in all the above. Not at all. I'll be the first to admit that my part in the whole thing was pretty insignificant. But nevertheless, I was there right at the beginning. So consider this shareware text a footnote or even a tall tale, and if you like it, do feel free to pass it on, but don't change the text or drop the byline, if you please. It began in the middle of a routine calibration run in the Exowatt fusion facility. All the alarms went off, and the AI in charge shut everything down, but there was no obvious problem. The robots could find no evidence of physical damage, yet the integrity and radiation alarms kept ringing, and analysis of experimental data showed that there had been a tremendous fluctuation in energy levels just after the fusion pulse. So the scientists sent the two of us, Mike Dougherty and me, over the horizon to eyeball the place. You've probably seen a zillion pictures. It was a low, square concrete block half buried in the smooth floor of Mendeleev crater on the moon's far side, surrounded by bulldozed roadways and cable trenches, the two nuclear reactors which powered it just at the level horizon to the south. At peak, the Exowatt used 1,000 million times more power than the entire U.S. electrical grid to fire up. For less than a millisecond, 6 pulsed lasers focused on a target barely 10 micrometers across, producing conditions which simulated those in the first picoseconds of the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?